Hello all YouTubers! So this is the first time I'll be using my animated movie character for a video like this. I hope you prefer Zeus's face over mine. But as you probably know, I'm a big Ninja Turtle fan and I've seen all 5 movies so far, and some I've liked, some I've not. And for this video, I'll be saying the reasons for how much I like each movie, and I'll be saying which one I feel is the worst and which is best. Which one do you think is going to be number 1? Which number 5? Now let's see if you were right, starting with the first film from 1990. One thing I think strong of is this transcends territory between kids' movie and teens' movie equally, which is usually my sort of movie. This first installment starts off on a terrific note, introducing how there's an escalating crime wave in New York City, and shows how these teenagers take refuge in an old warehouse. And later on, this place looks quite sassy. It is basically an outsider's dream come true, and is also quite timeless. There are gangsters everywhere, some violent, some not, but either way it's good for them to have fights without security stopping them. Also, that beginning scene with the Channel 6 van was quite punchy. Remember that TMNT episode where Raph says in irony, "This isn't a cartoon"? Well, here it isn't, and when you go to live action, it's good for the universe to be serious and for the turtles to not quite be as pleasantly juvenile but still have good smiles. Now the scenes with Splinter are a little wan. I'm not sure if the big Meet the Turtles was necessary, and the campfire scene was a little spoiled because of a marshmallow joke before, but despite that, the relationship with creatures and costumes is probably made the best it could have been done here. The action has some nice puns, but still stay on the rails. The Leo-Raph relationship is understandable. Raphael has impatience, while Leo wants to take the rescue one step at a time so they don't get ambushed, and it doesn't really side with either one. It's a good thing it doesn't go on too long, too. My favorite slice of the movie, though, is my favorite character. No, it's not the Turtles, no, it's not April or even Casey. It's Danny. From what information we have, he became a truant and secret member of the Foot Clan because he feels his father doesn't seem happy with him, and he sees more love with his friends. But what I think the best part is he feels guilt and is not really a criminal but a confused, well, outsider. So, the first Ninja Turtles movie is pretty nice for the family and sort of cartoonizes, if that's a word, many serious thrillers from back then and today. I give it a B+. Now it's time for The Secret of the Ooze. This movie opens up pretty welcoming. Everywhere you look there's pizza and you want to zip out and get some of your own. But then the first action scene comes up, and despite the fact that the turtles are having fun and Kino is freaking out, I felt my smile slowly tilt. It's a little bit too ridiculous when Mikey uses cold cuts as chucks, and Donatello impersonating some mannequin. What was the point? Now, I had a mixed relationship with one half of the plot. Now that the Foot Clan knows the Turtles, they are in hiding at April's, and once again, Raph and the other turtles are in a little disagreement. The Foot Clan is also slightly in hiding, and the Shredder's alive and searching for the ooze that created the Turtles and want to create some additions to his army. That's fine, but the message is gone here. You see, this is one of those dentist movies where some stuff is polished and other stuff brushed out, and in the hands of the right people, it can work. But here, the people who weren't Turtle fans were in charge. For example, the action is still exciting, but the bad thing here is the Turtles don't use their weapons at all, and that's partly because parents didn't like the use of it in the first film. Here's an idea. Just don't let your kiddies see the next film and let them watch something else. You don't have to ruin it for the rest of us. There's a Vanilla Ice appearance at a dance party, and it does exactly what I like to see, the turtles being seen by people. I mean, isn't this adorable? The problem is, not just because it was a dance party, but because I didn't like the Vanilla Ice song, "Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go." It makes it all feel more like a cartoon, in which most cartoons don't work in live action. I can understand how some people may like those filmmakers' ideas. I just wish they were doing something else. My worst complaint, though, is Splinter's "Do 10." It makes no sense. Hello, we're your saviors. If this Splinter was real, then when he got abducted in the first film, I bet the Turtles never would have cried. They'd have gone out and filmed a rock and roll album. In short, The Secret of the Ooze is like a cartoon version of the first film, and I give it a C. And now it's time for the time travel one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Now sometimes third time isn't the charm. The villains and plots may get tired if they're repeated. I guess the filmmakers might have thought of Shredder coming back again too boring, too unrealistic, so they made some brand new villains. Now, the problem the turtles had with being turtles their whole lives was being accepted in New York. There, it would be easy to be targeted for kidnapping and teasing and such, not to mention the Foot Clan, and now they're on their way to feudal Japan, back when ninjutsu was still alive, to rescue April. Something I'll give the movie right off the bat is how the magic time-traveling scepter activates and switches holders when both holders have the same weight. I know, it's not scientific, but original. And the more you think about it, with a little imagination, that may someday work in real life. I can't help but enjoy the 4 honor guards that are entirely lost in the society of today. It's hilarious. In 1602, an English swordsman named Walker is introducing guns and plans to take over a small village, led by Lady Mitsu. And for the first time, the turtles have a real relationship with humans. Raphael becomes pals with a boy named Yoshi, who is never annoying and understands pain. Boss. Michelangelo becomes friends with Mitsu after saving Yoshi from a fire. Boss. Leo and Donnie and April desperate to get home? Not really, boss. I kind of wish April and Casey's Japanese counterpart had a little bit more going. Ah well, but here are 3 things that make TMNT 3 hard not to like. The turtles use their weapons this time, maybe more so than the first, making the action a high foot. And now in Japan, the turtles don't have to use their masks and worry about being judged. It's like a breath of fresh air. They have more company, and so do we. Also, because of this, Raph and Mikey have a home conflict about wanting to stay where they no longer have to live in the sewer, though that may mean never being able to return to it. That scene was hands down, or hands up, the most dramatic story in the entire Ninja Turtle universe. I felt a surge that this franchise never gave me before. Even though I wish the other heroes were more sensitive, I give this movie an A-. And now it's time for the animated movie, TMNT. For a lot of fans, I've come to see they see this movie as a vigilant thriller. I found it to be an extemporaneous cynicism. Now, computer animation may be the best genre of movies ever. There are very few movies I don't like compared to how many I love. But I'm not going to give names because you'd probably hate me, and we'll get to that later. First off, we get a scene from millions of years ago and all these stone monsters. Okay, they all look identical, duplicated, and have no color. Next, we learn how Splinter sent Leo off on a year-long trip to South America to improve his training. Wait, what? What? Honestly, Shredder's dead, who cares? Now, without Leo, the turtles all feel a little separated and have now taken on jobs. You know what I'm talking about. The moment when you realize life is not a game anymore. Donnie is a stay-at-home clerk, and Mikey is a party man called Cowabunga Carl, and Raphael is a vigilante in disguise called the Night Watcher. I bet you can guess who my favorite turtles here were. Yep, M and R. Mikey has a scene with skateboarding that was great, and he has some zippy lines. And Raph is keeping up the family business and causing the turtles no harm whatsoever. He's always around at night and sleeps all day. So why the hell does everyone, minus Casey, not see it and think the Night Watcher is bad? Have they become that shallow? The plot about this monsters was incoherent to me. Oh boy, the Millennium Comet and Jirachi awakens from his slumber, monster version. Some man wants to stop being mortal. Kind of tedious thinking about it. It didn't have to be, but instead, we get to focus on a Leo and Raph fight, and Leo is the absolute worst. During his little fight scene against Raph, not a second went by when I didn't want Raph to kick him off the roof. Maybe that would have knocked some sense into this movie. I moderately liked April and Casey here. They were fine. And the action scenes are okay, the Raph vs. Lobster one my favorite, but the sword fights aren't really that impressive to other movies with them. They're not quite as good as the ones in the old Romeo and Juliet, nor even the criminally underrated Strange Magic. Not to mention here, Splinter is at his absolute worst again, never understanding the importance of protecting people. I finished the movie negatively desiring a sequel. I give it a C-. Now, remember how I talked a little about this movie during one of my last videos? Well, here's where I'll emphasize. This new remake of the Ninja Turtles spends quite a nice amount of time on emotional development, and for the first time since the original cartoon, April is a news reporter. And Megan Fox adds a fresh new meaning to the character. She makes her someone independent and committed. She also plays a part in the story of the Turtles themselves for this version. And when I saw that on screen at the theater, I had the same smile on my face when I found out which Autobot Kate and Tessa resurrected. Though the little mystery about who the New York vigilante is not too necessary, and why Fox didn't show the Turtles' picture to Whoopi Goldberg isn't something you should ask, the Turtles themselves drive this movie terrifically. Now, call me biased, but I don't like the Turtles from the 2003 TV show, even if I hadn't seen many episodes. What's up with those white eyes and cubic design? But here, they keep their charm and personality just fine. Now, I had a few problems with Michelangelo, but in short, I thought he was just a little tawdry. But I admired his flirting with April, and no, I have nothing against the April-Donnie relationship. I love that relationship. But I'm interested to see where this relationship goes in the sequel. Who knows, it could end up more than just a joke. I loved the action scenes, by the way. The snow chase scene looks so real. The final fight on the skyscraper was not just clever, but utilized the female lead, and there's definitely lots of loud noise. You know something else I have to give this movie? It's funny. Yep, except for a few ish scenes, I found myself laughing out loud, both times I saw it. Also, there's the case of Splinter. I didn't like him at first, not one bit, and the Ha-She scene certainly did not help with caring about him. In fact, after that, I found myself rooting against him during the Splinter versus Shredder fight. But then, there's the end. Oh my gosh, that glorious end. Splinter says something that I think makes up for just about every time he was talking about the abusive world and being ironic about it. To me, the movie is kind of a mess. Jokes during the drama, a showy elevator scene, the adrenaline scene a little too easy, and it all just works. And I have to give it a B+. In conclusion, my opinion may not be the most common, but the animated 2007 film is the worst, The Secret of the Ooze is in fourth, the first film and the most recent film are tied for second, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 Turtles in Time is number 1. And if you have a different opinion, that's fine. You know what I say about movies? There's no such thing as a good movie or a bad movie. Whether you like a movie or not doesn't make it better or worse. All that matters is the importance of your and everyone else's own opinions. So, I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you disagree with me or not, that's fine.